All right. Amazing. You get the lighting right and everything's working. All of a sudden, the camera just decides to do something a little bit different. And then you have to reset, and then the computer won't go live on Facebook, and you've got issues. But we're here on a game day. We've got a lot to get to, so it's a busy day today. But if you haven't heard yet, I did an interview with Noah Brown. And so we'll start
talk with Noah Brown and
with that interview, which you'll hear
what's
right
it
now.
like not only for you to finally
Hit the
get
share
activated
button.
on this active roster, but now play meaningful snaps for this football team.
It feels good. That's what I'm here for, to have a winning impact, and finally got back healthy, and I'm able to get out there and do that. So I'm excited.
So I mean, back healthy on the active roster. You've been here for a while. I mean, is it just all the hard work finally paying off for you?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I was having one of my best off seasons I've had, before I got hurt, and it just feels good to still be able to keep going, keep putting work in, and now I'm back activated and able to showcase the work I put in.
Previous weeks, you've been active, and when you get out there, it's been a tell. You've been part of the running game. So this past week, you get out there, and now all of a sudden Washington bails out to stop the run because they see you in the game, and now you're out there catching passes, you're out there running routes. I mean, is that something you take a lot of pride in?
Yeah, there's definitely something I take a lot of pride in. That's just always how I play football. Aggressive, and you want to make whoever's across from you feel pressure on every play, whether you're getting the ball or not. And I feel like blocking is a way to do that. And also, when you come in and you're able to be physical like that, now you're able to get open a little bit easier. So I think that everyone should play that way. And that's just how I play football.
You almost had that touchdown, huh?
Right. Yeah. We almost had that one, but there'll be more.
Yeah, that was one that they completely bailed out to stop the run. Somebody picked you up, but I mean, he didn't even believe that you were running around. You were just wide open across the formation.
Exactly. Yeah. We pray for plays to work like that. We got a couple good ones, and I'm confident there's more touchdown opportunities.
How much has this offense changed since Amari got here?
The offense has changed a lot. He's a playmaker. I wouldn't say it's changed in the fact that we're running anything different. But he's got that game-breaking ability where you can catch what may be an insignificant slant for somebody else and take it to the house.
40 yards or 90 yards for a touchdown.
And take it to the house. So that's definitely how our offense have changed in that dynamic.
Are teams playing you guys differently defensively?
They're gonna have to, because like I said, you got somebody explosive like that, you got to give it a little bit of extra attention. So I think that it's been a great addition, and it's only gonna open up everything for us.
Have you guys been hanging out together? I mean, what's the camaraderie and the chemistry like with a guy that comes in mid-season?
He's a great dude. I feel like he came in and he messed with the team immediately. He's one of the guys who he makes all the big plays, but when he walks into the room, you might not even know he's there unless you speak to him. He's very reserved.
This is Noah Brown, by the way, Cowboys wide
I
receiver,
like that
who I interviewed, and that's what you're
about
watching right
Zeke?
now. I'll be with you in a moment. We'll talk Cowboys.
It seems
Saints.
like with Zeke and
Hit the share
Amari,
button.
and now it's just working for everybody on offense.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you dream for as a team, to hit your stride at the right time. I think that at the beginning a lot of people got down on us, but in this locker room we kept our faith and we knew we hit our stride, and I think we're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys started 3-4, hit the bye. You trade for Amari, you make the move with the offensive line coach. What changed about this team?
Like I said, I don't think anything changed. I think we just kept plugging. I think we had faith in who's in the room, who's doing what, and that eventually it's going to pop for us. And I think that's what's happening.
All right, I'm Ari Temkin. This is Showtime right here on Phantom. We are bringing you to the center of the Dallas sports discussion. So thanks for everybody for being with us today on what's a crazy day for me, personally, but also obviously a huge day with the Cowboys gearing up to take on the Saints tonight at AT&T Stadium. It's going to be a great 4 days here for AT&T Stadium in Arlington as they get Cowboys Saints, and we'll talk about in a moment here why the Cowboys are getting the Saints at the absolute perfect time. But Cowboys Saints, a suddenly surging Dallas Cowboys football team, and the 10-1 New Orleans Saints. But then Saturday at AT&T Stadium, it's Cowboys, or rather Texas and OU. So first time in 115 years that Texas and OU are playing. Texas and OU are playing for the first time outside of AT&T Stadium, rather outside of Dallas, I should say. Sorry. Texas, I know you're playing outside of Dallas for the first time since 1923. It's the first time they've played twice in the same season since 115 years. There we go. When you're distracted, you don't really talk very well, which is just what happened to me. Hit the share button if you wouldn't mind. That would be fantastic. Let's get started here. All right, so Sam Torres says, Olaf from SA. What's going on? David Alejandro says, great little interview first thing this morning. Appreciate you saying that. Noah Brown. The full interview, by the way, will be available tomorrow morning on the Cowboys Beat, which is my weekly podcast that I host with Patrick Kahn. How's the stream holding up? Is it a bit off kilter a little bit? Hopefully it will even out a little bit. It looks like it's not as good as it needs to be, but let's see here. On the Dallas Cowboys report page, I'll get to Dallas Cowboys America's team in a moment. Let's believe and have faith from Martin Montez. Kirkendall from Silsbee, Texas. Shout out to you. Ray Frausto says, Jason Garrett and company are really going to have to earn their money in this game. Please coach aggressively, which is, if you watched the show yesterday, something that I discussed and talked about. So, yeah, no, I think that's a huge... It does this thing again where I don't understand why the camera changed. What happened to the camera, guys? Why did it all of a sudden make me all red? I set the lighting in here. It takes me forever to do it. I get the lighting perfectly right, and I look fine. I don't look red like I'm looking right now. And then it looks good, and then I go live, and then 5 minutes later, it looks like this. It's infuriating. It's the reason the show started at 12:10, not 12:20. Because it takes you 25 minutes to get the lighting and everything right, and then I do, and then I go live, and then it does this red thing. And it's infuriating. Really. So I guess I'll just pray that it somehow corrects itself. Or I could get up and... yeah, thank you, Carrie. Carrie Teagle says I'm a hot boy now. It's horribly distracting and horribly annoying, and I'm clearly frustrated by it. This is a big day for me personally. I'm going to do the Cowboys pre- and post-game show. We start at 4 p.m., 105 through the Fan, and across the Dallas Cowboys radio network, wherever you get it. Yeah, gee, I'd love for you to be my tech guy. We start at 4. The post-game show will end around 1 a.m., and then I'm going to come home and go to sleep for about 2 hours, 3 hours, and I'm going to wake up at 5 and go to the hospital and get a kid. Because my wife is being induced with a cesarean section tomorrow morning at 5:30 in the morning to have our second child. So, should be crazy. H.R. Liliskov says, what up, Ari? Salutations from the middle of the North Sea. Keep up the good work, bud. Let's go, Cowboys. Wow. The middle of the North Sea. That's awesome. And kind of incredible, and really shows you how amazing this technology truly is. Joe Tranchina in Italy and Sicily, and H.R. Liliskov in the middle of the North Sea. I don't even know where that is. It's beyond my own geographical comprehension, but I appreciate you saying that very much so. All right, congratulations. Thank you. So, yeah, I'm going to end the post-game show at about 1 a.m., and then I'm going to come home by about 2 a.m., I'd imagine, and get to sleep, and then wake up at 5 a.m. So that should be crazy. In relation to that, by the way, this show will not be back on until Wednesday. At least with me. I will not be back on this show until Wednesday. So adjust your calendars and schedules accordingly, please. Let's see here. Maybe this will help. Maybe this will help. It'd be really helpful if TJ Carpenter were watching this stream right now, so I can ask him what bitrate I should be streaming at. And it's not like he hasn't told me a bunch of times, but at any rate, none of that makes any sense to any of you people, so I apologize for saying that. All right, everybody hit the share button. I'm going to attempt to fix this lighting issue, which is infuriating me because, again, the reason I was late today was because I was perfect this whole thing looked good, and then like for 10 minutes I sat here and it looked great, and then as soon as I hit start streaming, it went all red on me, making me a part of the Hot Boys. Thank you, Kerry Teagle. And then again, I adjusted. I thought I got everything back to fine, and then 10 minutes later it just does this. It just completely changes for some reason the camera. I don't know what would have done that. So, yeah, my face is like a red tomato. Josh Innes says they can't. Josh Innes. What's up, buddy? How are you? The Cowboys can't beat the Saints. I mean, sure. Look, I'm going to pick the Saints to win this football game, but I'll take the points. I think it'll be a lot closer than most people expect, and I think that's because the Cowboys are a different football team than the one that most people, how they view this team. Arturo Mercado says color saturation. Yeah, the lighting was perfect, and then all of a sudden the camera decided it was going to completely change for some reason. Hashim K on YouTube says Cowboys are losing tonight, but he spelled losing like loosing, and he says badly. I mean, I just disagree with that. And this is why I wrote that this is the perfect time for the Cowboys to be playing this football team, in that the Cowboys have played consistently well defensively all year. They're third in points given up. They are fourth in rushing yards given up, which that's good against the Saints, a team that likes to run the football and runs the football well. But in their offense, their offense had been a major liability, as we've discussed on the stream many times. Through the first 6 weeks of the season, 7 weeks of the season. And after the acquisition of Amari Cooper, it's just meant so much to this offense and being more consistent. And so that's why, the first week they had Amari Cooper after the bye, it wasn't great because he was so new here. And every week he seemed to get better and better. But it's obvious even without the production, if the production isn't there, it's obvious that he's impacting the game in a multitude of ways. All right, I'm gonna hold on one second. Hey, how about that? Redness is gone. That's exciting. I'm excited about that. Look, there's Drew Brees. All right, what are the other... Also, by the way, Boyo Campero. Check it out. I got a hat now. Very excited about it. Love my hat. Check out Pollo Campero. Check out one of their many locations across Dallas, Houston, California, Florida. In the description, there's a link, and you can find out wherever there's a location by you. So I urge you to do that. Omar Bagat says, "How'd you fix it?" Well, I went to other lighting. That before it was too bright. Now it works well. So, of course it did. I'm glad it was an easy fix. I guess I'm excited about that, and I no longer look red, and that's good. All right, let's talk football. That's what you're all here for. Wally Oz says, "What'd you do? Put on a hat?" No, I've been wearing this hat. Alex Hernandez says 1,200 to 1,500 kbps for high quality. I don't know if that helps. Yeah, but that quality is too high. And not fat. I think that's too high. That would be the highest quality, but I don't know that I need to stream in that high quality, and it will probably slow down my processor. I think is the issue there. But Alex, I appreciate that because it was at 1,000 kbps, so I lowered it because the bitrate I think was too high. But one day when I'm streaming this in 4K, I will need a 1,500 kbps. But again, nobody probably cares, except for that was who was that? Except for the commenter there. Oh, Alex Hernandez. So thank you for that, buddy. I remember when Alex Hernandez was a really good pitcher for my favorite baseball team, the Chicago White Sox. Robert Guerra says, "Ari, I think if the boys stay close to the Aints, we can beat them at the end. What do you think?" Yeah. I mean, I expect this to be a close game. Again, I've sort of talked about this all week, but it's important to note again, the way that the perception of the Cowboys right now is false insofar as this is a different football team than the one that because of the way that we look at the NFL, especially I'm talking about outside of Cowboys fandom, right? The way we analyze the NFL. It's rare that a team can change in season as drastically as the Cowboys have. So I don't know that people know what to do with them because of that, right? Because this was a bad offensive football team prior to the acquisition of Amari Cooper. And the one move, acquiring Amari Cooper, has significantly changed the entire offensive ecosystem of the Cowboys. It's not just the production that he brings, but the way that teams now have to defend them. So when you look at Zeke Elliott as being one of the best running backs in football, he was almost neutralized by his own team because defenses wouldn't take them seriously. So Amari forces defenses to take them seriously, and if they don't, then they're going to beat him with Amari Cooper like they did last week. And I've said this. I mean, this is a great game. It's a fun game because it pits one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL, against the Cowboys, who are playing as good as they played all year right now. But it's not a must-win. It's not. You must win all 16 games. But if the bigger matchup would be next week in Philadelphia. If they win against the Saints and then lose against Philadelphia, then they're no closer to winning the division than if they lose to the Saints but beat Philadelphia next week. So I mean I think they were in a stretch where they had a very little margin for error, but now they have a greater margin for error, and so they can sustain a loss here and still be a playoff team. Now obviously I'm not, you hope they win, and it'd be cool if they could beat this team, and they've won 3 straight. They're playing as good a football as they played all year, and that's why this is the perfect time for the Cowboys to be playing them. Because their offense is credible now. It's playing more consistently, and it's another week. It's now been basically a month plus. It's almost been a month and a half since the Cowboys traded for Amari Cooper. They played 4 games. This will be the 5th game they played. But remember, they made that trade right at the beginning of the bye week. So you're talking about basically 6 weeks that he's been with this team. So, a lot of the NFL season is catching teams at a particular time. And catching them at the right time, or be playing, at a certain way at the right time. The Cowboys are playing their best football right now, and so this is the perfect time for them to be catching the New Orleans Saints. I talked about this yesterday, but I think it's important to note again, the Cowboys, they need to beat the Saints at their own game, which again sounds weird to say. It doesn't mean they got to beat them in a shootout. But what it does mean is, they need to long sustained drives, stay committed to Zeke, take chances on 4th downs, don't kick field goals, be more creative, be more aggressive, get after Drew Brees, bring added pressure. Don't worry about getting beat in the second, in the back end, because he'll beat you anyways. Like these are the kinds of things that we need to see from this team, this organization. Sam Torres says Cheeto gets a pick tonight. I mean, Drew Brees has 2 interceptions this year. It's not going to happen. He's not going to throw an interception. It's not going to happen. The only way they turn the ball over is by fumbling, and they have 7 fumbles lost this year. They have 9 total turnovers, and they have 10 interceptions and 7 fumbles. So they're +8 in the turnover margin. But so much of that is because they just don't. They don't turn the ball over. Dean Cruisinger on the Dallas Cowboys America's team page says the haters have said nothing the past 3 weeks about the Cowboys, about the Cooper trade being terrible. Whichever Jones pulled the trigger, nice work. Well, I mean, I think it was both, but I think, and I've said this before, give Jerry credit. He was the catalyst behind the move. Warren Merle says, is Cole Beasley and Dak beefing? No. Unless you've heard something different. Arturo Mercado says our corners are good enough. I hate seeing our DBs play 10 yards back when it's 3rd and 4. Agreed there. But, I mean, Cowboys pass D is 12th in the NFL. So, I also think, this is just not this explosive passing offense. It's explosive in both ways. I mean, here's the reality of the situation, people. The Saints are scoring on 61% of their possessions, which is it's not just good, it's historically good. 61%. Kansas City is in second place on scoring percentage, and they're at 53%. Think about that. Think of that. That is an, what is that, 9-8% basically drop off. 1-2. That's ridiculous. Elias says, how much do I think the Cowboys will win by? I do not think the Cowboys will win. I would take the points, though, at 7.5 if I were a betting man. But I do really like all of the rampant optimism that I see. Patrick Kahn says, Zeke gonna eat. DeAndre Skinner says, must win for the Cowboys. Disagreed. It's not. Not only is it mathematically not a must win, it's also the 2 games that they must win to win the division would be the Eagles game next week and then the Giants game. So it's not a must win. It would be fun to win, and it's fun to win good important games. It's an important game, right? Because it's prime time. It's Thursday night. It's the 10-1 Saints and the suddenly surging 6-5 Cowboys. So it's a big game, but it's not a must-win. G. Garcia brings up the fact that the Falcons had a great offense at home, and the Cowboys' defense held them in check, and that's right. I guess what I'm saying is this offense is better significantly, and not just at home, but everywhere. And they're balanced, which is the freak, right? The Falcons have a really bad rush offense. They had a really good pass offense. We have to understand the differences between the Saints offense and the Falcons offense. They're not even close to being the same. They're both high-powered, but the Falcons can't run the football. The Saints run the football well. I mean, the Saints have 344 rushing attempts and 363 passing attempts. So they're very balanced. That's on the season. They are rushing the ball at 4 yards a carry. So, I mean, that's part of, they're not a score-fast type of offense. So yeah, the Cowboys D did a fantastic job in Atlanta. It was their most impressive defensive effort we've seen this season, and it's been a consistent defensive effort for this team. But yeah, I mean, I just think this is a different offense. And maybe more to the point, I don't know that I think the Cowboys offense can score 30 points, and that's what I think it'll take to beat them. 30 is the magic number. If the Cowboys can get to 30, they'll win. Alex Hernandez says, wish they could use those white helmets with the color rush unis. Agreed. I'm a fan of consistent coloring. So jerseys, pants, helmet, same color. I think that looks badass. You rarely see it though. Roderick Matthews says, this is the Kansas City and the undefeated Saints game all over again. The Cowboys will show up and win this game. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people have been using that. I it's completely irrelevant to this year's matchup. These are 2 different teams. I mean, I hate to say that, but there's literally nothing those are 2 completely unrelated events other than Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Michael, all right. So that was the second thing I wanted to get to. I guess we can get to that now. By the way, if you have not yet already, what are you waiting for? Hit the share button. Okay, so yesterday's practice report injury update came out, and I tweeted the report, which is that Tyron Smith, Xavier Su'a-Filo, and Zach Martin are all questionable for the game. Tavon Austin's out, David Irving is out, Sean Lee is out. The usual suspects. Here's what I believe. Patrick Kahn says Ari is a hater. True. Totally. Completely. Hate. It's all I do. Travis Adams says, "What's up, Ari? How about them Cowboys? How's Jason Garrett looking now?" Great. Where have you been, Travis? I've been singing the praise of Garrett all week, and I still get commenters talking about wanting to get rid of Garrett, which I'm not completely off the board on, but I also would like let's just wait and see what happens. I mean, this team's playing its best football right now. Why are we trying to get rid of a coach and a staff that's coaching and staffing well? So I think Suafilo will play. I think Zach Martin will play. I don't know about Tyron Smith, and yes, it'd be great to see Tyron Smith play, but I would prefer him be healthy and ready to go next Sunday. Now, again, perhaps he could do both, but again, you have to win the game against Philly. Otherwise, if they lose next Sunday to Philly, the door's open for Philly. Even though the Philly has a tougher schedule, don't get me wrong, they have to play the Rams still. So they already played the Saints and got smoked by them. Dave Beeler says Jane Slater said highly unlikely for Smith to be a go. And that's, I mean, I said this all week, but Tyron Smith has played through a lot in his career. So for last week's game against Washington, for it to be it was a must win, because if they lost that game, they would have been swept by Washington and they would have had no shot to win the division. So if he wasn't even able to give it a go during a must win type game, then that shows you how hurt he is, and how difficult this is. And this is not, it's a stinger is nerves. It's not a rest and relaxation type of injury. That's the problem here. Travis Adams says Smith was ready to go last week. He should be this week. No, he wasn't ready to go last week. If he was ready to go last week, he would have gone last week. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The fact that he didn't go last week is a pretty good indication that he was really, really in pain, considering it was a must-win, not mathematically, but you get my point, and that he wasn't able to go. It's not like they were saving him for this week. They would have rather him play last week. No, it doesn't, Travis. Travis, you are totally off base, man. No, it doesn't. Ty Shelton, the Cowboys can play flawlessly tonight and still may not be enough. Need to drop at least 35 to win. I think Lawrence lit fire under the Saints with his comments. I think they need to get, I think 30 is the number. 30 is the number. If they score 30, they'll win. If they score 30, they'll win. The Lawrence thing, no, I just don't. I don't think. This is a team that's won 10 straight games. They don't need any extra motivation, right? Like, these are high stakes games. Every game is important. There's no extra motivation. And by the way, what Lawrence said was right. He was 100% correct. The Cowboys do need to be aggressive in getting after Drew Brees, because he's only been sacked like 10 times this year or something ridiculously small. So, I mean, again, Drew Brees has been sacked 10 times. Dak Prescott was sacked 4 times in the first half last week. Tyler Cutright says, can handle a loss tonight as long as it isn't an embarrassment like Philly had. Yeah, it's not going to be. Because, again, going back to this idea that, like, when you play teams, that's an interesting, like, it's about timing of playing teams. Philly is starting to get a little bit, like, in that Saints game, they were walking guys up off the street and putting them in at safety, or in their corners. Like, they had so many injuries after that Cowboys game, and then they played the Saints the following week, and they had more guys get injured. I mean, they were at a point, I saw at one point in that game against the Saints, the Eagles, where they had guys that weren't even on the roster 3 weeks before. 3 weeks before, the like guys that were playing were not even on the roster. So the Eagles were in prime position to get destroyed, which is why I started Traquan Smith in that game at receiver, because I knew he'd have a huge game for my fantasy team, because Eagles corners were just garbage and awful, and nobody was available. I mean, the Cowboys defense is too credible for this game to be a blowout. I mean, it's going to be a close game. That's why I'm taking the points, 7.5. Neil Favre says, tired of hearing about how the Saints are going to roll over the Cowboys and are extremely motivated to win tonight. I don't see it. And Cowboys are motivated as well. Cowboys are coming out with something to prove as a young team. They hear the disrespect. We're winning. Yeah, totally. I don't care about the I love the DeMarcus Lawrence comments. First of all, like bulletin board material, like that's no, I don't buy it. And I think he was 100% correct. Cowboys have to be aggressive and get after him. They have to get him uncomfortable. So now he's thinking about where the rush is coming from. The more comfortable he is in that pocket, the better he's going to be. So yeah. Dalton Miller and Walt Chisholm both saying, join Walt Chisholm and I at Knockouts on Riverfront for the game. Yes. Probably a good time to tell you that Knockouts on River Center in downtown Southish Dallas. Not downtown. South Dallas. South of downtown Dallas. That's where you should go watch the game tonight. That place is really, really cool during games. It's just an awesome bar. Great spot, great viewing. They have like an air cannon they're lighting off when this Cowboys score touchdowns. It's an awesome place, and of course they also have very attractive waitresses that are clothed minimally, I guess is the best way to say it. So if you're into that kind of thing, it's the perfect spot to go watch the football game. That's where you should watch it. Dalton Miller and Walt Chisholm are going to be out there broadcasting live. So if you live in Dallas, go there. Randy Tober, what up, Randy? He says, how many key passes has Dak screwed up by bad throws? He threw awesome the first year. What happened is because he didn't have 15 seconds to throw the ball like the first year. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. He's being asked to do more. They had a better offensive line. The thing with Dak is he's inconsistent. That's the thing, right? You look at the first half of that Washington game, and he's one-hopping throws. We showed earlier in the week how badly he missed Noah Brown on a sure touchdown pass. It's funny. Everybody was like, Scott Linehan's the worst. He didn't run it with Zeke at all. And even I said that. In that one possession where they kicked a field goal in the first half, but I mean they had a touchdown. Like they had a touchdown on the first play, but Dak Prescott just completely missed it. He kept backpedaling, and he missed Noah Brown, who would have walked into the end zone. Nobody covered him because the Redskins bailed out to stop the run. So everybody's like, oh, why did Scott Linehan call a better play? He's a bad play caller. He should have called a run for Zeke. Even I was I tweeted about it. And then you go back and watch the game, and you're like, the first play from scrimmage, Washington had like 15 people in line of scrimmage. Almost. And they just were able to get Noah Brown out and across the formation, and he was wide open, and Dak just completely missed him. So it's not bad play calling. It's bad execution. And then he makes some great throws in the second half. So he's just so inconsistent is the issue. Hit the share button if you've not yet already, by the way. That would be fantastic. I'm Ari Temkin. This is Phantom. Pre-game show for Cowboys and Saints starts at 4 o'clock from AT&T Stadium's Miller Lite West Plaza. If you're coming out to the game, make sure to come by and say hello. I'll be out there with Jesse Holly from 4 o'clock. Pre-game show starts then. David Mazel in the house. What up, Mazel? Big Cowboys fan. Biggest Cowboys fan I know, David Mazel. Without doubt, without a question. And then the post-game show to follow on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network and 105.3 The Fan locally. But if you're not going to the game, go out to Knockouts on River Center for the best game experience. Cheap, awesome beer, great food, hot chicks in minimal clothing, and great spot, great setup, a lot of fun. That's where you should watch the game today. And by the way, if you click on the invite or you tell them about Phantom, you'll get a free appetizer too. So there's that. That's cool too. William White says, hope they mic Lawrence up tonight. Want to hear what he says during the game. Do they do that? They're micing players up on Thursday Night Football? All right, so injuries and actives for tonight. Should we get back to that? Since my computer died, or not died, but it went to a screen that I now have to log back in and do this awkward reach across thing. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. I'm still here, but I'm minimally here. There we go. Okay. Alan Stott on the Phantom YouTube page says Dallas has 2 games with 30-plus points. Saints have 2 games without 30-plus points. That is correct. In fact, the Saints have scored at least 30 in 5 straight games and at least 40 in 3 of their last 5. Now, the Cowboys haven't given up 30 points in their last 17 games, and it gets even crazier than that because the game that they did was last year to the Eagles where they gave up 30 points. The Eagles defense scored twice in that game. So that's really even a longer stat because the Cowboys defense didn't give up 30 in that game. The Cowboys offense gave the Eagles 30 points in that game, if you recall. So it's been a long time since the Cowboys defense has given up. I mean, we're multiple seasons. And the Cowboys defense this year is significantly better than the Cowboys defense last year. So something's got to give. And that's why I think 30 is the magic number. What's the count? 30! I think he only does 1 through 10 and then he stomps 30 times. But 30 is the number. 30 is the magic number. That's the number. That's why. Because the Saints have scored at least 30 in 5 straight games. They scored at least 40 in 3 of the last 5. And they've only scored under 30 twice this season. And by the way, they won those games too. Cowboys haven't given up 30 for 17 games, but it's longer than that. So 30 is the magical number. Cowboys get to 30, they will win. But I'm not sure the Cowboys get to 30. And I see Chris Bennett in the comments, and Chris, I'm picking Oklahoma to win. Sorry, buddy. And if I'm being honest, I want Oklahoma to win. Because I want the Big 12 to get in the college football playoff. But my condolences with you if Oklahoma beats Texas at AT&T Stadium on Saturday. Because that would be awful for a Texas fan to basically not only lose to Oklahoma, but lose in a way that gets them into the college football playoff. That would be awful. So I'm rooting for you, buddy, but not necessarily for Texas. Sorry. I will understand if you hate me. So really everybody on the stream probably hates me because I basically just picked against the Texas Longhorns and the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm at least taking the points in both games. Actually, I might not take the points in the Texas game. Let's see. Okay, so injury report. So out. Tavon Austin is out. Taco Charlton will play. Who knows if it'll make a difference. David Irving, Sean Lee, Jeff Swaim, all out. We knew that. Questionable. Malik Collins, Zach Martin, Xavier Suafilo, and Jeff Swaim, and Tyron Smith. I think Malik Collins, Zach Martin, and Xavier Suafilo will play. I don't think Tyron Smith will play. But I'm okay with it because, well, look, it's worrisome. Don't get me wrong. And the Cowboys are going to need to use Noah Brown to help block Cam Jordan off the edge because Cam Jordan is a beast. The New Orleans Saints defensive front is really good. I know they have the number 1 rush defense in the NFL, and I think in some ways those numbers can be deceiving. But I do think their defensive front is very, very good. So it'd be great if the Cowboys could have Tyron Smith, but I'd rather have him next week and then have him this week. Like, if I can have him both weeks, fine. But if I can only pick one of the weeks to have him, I'd rather have him next week against the Eagles and not this week. But for the Saints, the only guy they've listed out is Terran Armstead, who's been out. And everybody else that's listed on the injury report is full. So they're not really dealing with injuries for the most part. I mean, they're pretty healthy. And Traquan Smith, who missed last week's game on short rest with a toe injury, will be back. So they'll have more receivers that you've heard of catching passes as opposed to last week where they had Tommy Lee Jones and, I don't know, somebody else catching passes for them. Ill Eagle Alien says, what's up, Ari Temkin? Gambling is for losers. All right. Also, Ill Eagle Alien, appreciate you, but it's Temkin, as you can notice here below. It sounds like there should be a P, but there's not. It's Your Highlight says, Lauren said that we going to come the stats offensive line. I sure hope so. Going to come to choke the offensive line. Well, what he said was they've got to choke out their offense, which I agree with. Like they've got to get after Breeze. They've got to scare him. They've got to make him feel the rush. Because once you do that, you've now impacted the mentality of the quarterback. So once you've gotten in the head of the quarterback, you've gotten a good chance to take advantage of that quarterback. And that's what he's saying, and he's right. That's fundamental to the game of football, right? Instilling fear in the opposition. And that's exactly what he's referring to. And that's, by the way, exactly right. Raymond Flores says a camera light sensor is especially sensitive to red, green, and blue. That's why they use red, green, blue screens for movies. So any hint of redness in your face is magnified by the camera. Also, lighting can make a huge difference. Even the color surrounding you and what you're wearing can make that seem your face more red. I know. I mean, I kind of know, but I know. But I kind of don't know. So, Raymond, can you just come to my house every day and set up my camera for me and help me with my lighting? That would be great. The white hat is helping the cameras. Good job. Ah, of course. Boy Ocampero, not just good chicken. It's Your Highlight says, who needs to win more, Saints or Cowboys? Well, Cowboys need to win more, but I don't know that who needs to win more as far as the playoff race? I mean, the Saints would like to win another game because they've won 10 straight, and it's cool to win 11 games. It doesn't happen very often. But also because they're in hunt of the number 1 overall seed. And the first round bye and home field advantage throughout. So they must win for that way. The Cowboys are obviously only at 6-5. So, at best they can be 11-5. But obviously they could still, so they need to win in order to continue to pursue for the playoffs. But again, it's neither a must-win for either of these teams. KMW, J-Man, Jack Baby says we shouldn't be worrying about our defense. We just need to worry about how we're going to score. That's fair. Illegal Alien says, I was kidding, bro. Temp. On the Phantom Facebook page, Kevin Breedehoft says, over or under 2 sacks for Lawrence? Well, Kevin, the Saints have played 11 games. Drew Brees has been sacked 10 times. So, I'll take the under because he's not even being sacked once per game through 11 games. And a reminder, too, the Saints beat the Ravens 24-23. The Ravens are the best defense they played this year, and the Ravens are statistically a better defense than the Cowboys are. They're number 1 in yards, number 2 in pass yards, number 3 in rush yards, and number 1 in points. So, and they sacked Brees once. So I'll take the under. But we'll see. I mean, I think it's important for the Cowboys to be aggressive defensively, meaning get after him, bring pressure, bring added pressure. Don't just rush with 4. Because what we've seen from Rod Marinelli's defense in the past is sometimes he's worried about, well, what if we get beat in the back end? And, and then he'll still get beat in the back end sometimes. So, Michael Lafferty says their line's like ours used to be. Yeah, they have a really, the 2016 Cowboys offensive line is, that could be up there with one of the great all-time lines. Like, they had 3 All-Pros on that offensive line. Like that, you think there's 5 spots on an O-line for 3 of them to be on one team? That's a historically great offensive line. But it's one of the better offensive lines of the Saints in the NFL right now. Illegal Alien says, them boys going to score every way, all 3 phases of the ball. Total domination. Pull up the stats of the 18-0 season for the Patriots and see how many times Tom Brady got sacked. What does it have to do with this year? What does it have to do with the Saints in 2018? I'll wait, Illegal Alien. Or is it Illegal Alien? Or is it illegal alien? Adam Castle says, do you think Cowboys should roam corners around instead of keeping them in the same spot? No. No, I don't really. I get that. But no. Because if you've got one good corner, or like Byron Jones, right? The idea being maybe they should just put Byron Jones on Julio Jones last week or on Michael Thomas this week. The problem is when you've got guys patrolling, they both have their advantages and disadvantages. So when you've got guys familiar with patrolling certain areas of the field because they're not moving spots, like you have to remember if Byron Jones is moving, so is everybody else, right? So I think there's positives and negatives of both. All right, I guess it's time for me to make my official prediction, which I kind of did a little bit last night during Dalton Miller's show. Which, by the way, everybody check out Dalton Miller's show. He does a stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights at 8 o'clock Central. At some point, we'll figure out how to get Patrick Kahn on that show as well. Illegal alien, you finally got it, kind of. I'm slow and stupid. Jeffrey or Jerome Watson, should they give Rico more looks? Yes. Joe Tranchina, over 2 touchdowns or under 2 touchdowns for Dak? I'm going to say over. Over 2 touchdowns for Dak. That would be passing and running, I would imagine you're saying, right? So, yeah, I'll go over. Chris Bennett, 1258, and OU still sucks. If Texas wins, I'll be happy for you, buddy. But I won't be happy. All right, so let me see here. The magic number is 30. And I don't think the Cowboys get there. Why? Because I don't think... I need their head coach to be aggressive. I need him to not kick field goals. I need him to go for it on 4th downs, given certain circumstances, right? Not just like every time, but like don't kick field goals against this team. You need to be playing a 3rd down like you've got 2 downs to get there in the red zone, and you need to score touchdowns. And I just don't have any faith that Jason Garrett will do that. And I hope I'm wrong, because if I am, that's a huge breakthrough for this guy and Jason Garrett. And I'll have a lot more respect for his coaching, and I'll be calling less for his head. So, with that being said, my official prediction for the game tonight is Saints 31, Cowboys 27. Saints 31, Cowboys 27. That's my official prediction. By the way, I'm having a baby tomorrow morning. Actually, my wife is. So this will be the last you'll see of me until Wednesday of next week. But for everybody that's streaming this, watching this, commenting on it, sharing it, sending positive vibes, sorry I picked against your team. It's not fandom or any, I'm just trying to analyze this the way that I see. Dalton Miller was somehow, my buddy Dalton Miller was talked into picking the Cowboys to win, but hopefully they do. But thank you to everybody, all of you people. Kerry Teagle and Danny Easley and Joe Tranchina and Ray Flores and Neil Falver and Dakota Stiegel and Chris Bennett, Sam Torres, Angela Martinez, Randy Tober, and Ty Shelton, Keith Jones. You guys make this show what it is. So thank you all for being a part of this community, the show every day. Joseph Candelaria says, congrats, Ari. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I have a son. I have a 3-year-old son, so this will be our 2nd kid. But, yeah. So I'm doing the post-game show tonight until 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll drive back here. I'll get back home about 2 o'clock in the morning. Wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So it should be a crazy day for me. Anyways, I'm going to go take it on. So you should all take on the day, too. Enjoy the game tonight. Have fun. Go Cowboys. And pregame show starts at 4 o'clock on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. So 3 hours from right now, Dallas Cowboys Radio Network at 105 through the Fan locally. But for now, everybody, I'm out. Peace.